I've been interviewing millionaires from Silicon Valley and the US for the past 5 years, and here are my key 7 takeaways that will change your life and the way you think about business and your career. We're going to start with my interview with Sampriti, who came to the US from India, studied at MIT, and is now reinventing the way we use our ocean. She's basically inventing electric boats that navigate by themselves, and here's what she told me. In 2016, Sampriti was named one of the Forbes 30 Under 30, and today her company has raised over 11 million from top investors, including Sergey Brin. But behind these successes lies a long road of trial and error. The most important lesson we can learn from Sampriti is her incredible determination and the ability to never give up. Just imagine, to get her first internship in the US, Sampriti sent over 540 emails. Picture yourself having sent 500 emails, most of which went unanswered, and the few replies you did get were rejections. It's easy to see how one might be tempted to give up, but what did Sampriti do? She kept sending emails until she received the internship offer that would change her life. The same persistence, knocking on all kinds of doors, was what she used to raise investment for Navier. So the next time you're in a situation where you feel down and you want to give up on your idea, remember Sampriti and take one more step towards your dream. It's not the smartest or most talented people who win, but the ones who keep pushing the longest and are willing to go the extra mile when everyone has given up. And from my personal experience, I've seen so many entrepreneurs who started with a really weird idea, and when I chatted with them, I was super skeptical and maybe told them that their idea is not too new or maybe impossible to deliver. But a few years later, I realized that the ones who kept pushing, they actually ended up being successful. So if you believe in what you're doing, please keep pushing. And remember Sampriti. Before we dive into more amazing life and business lessons, I want to take a moment to thank Folk for sponsoring this video. Folk is a CRM designed to foster genuine client connections. Unlike other popular CRM tools that can be clunky and overly complex, Folk is refreshingly simple and easy to use. Folk CRM is a perfect fit for agencies and firms or small businesses where no two deals are the same. They advocate for personalized social selling over mass lead generation tactics that have become ambiguous to the point of being ineffective, outdated, and frankly annoying. Folk helps users cultivate real connections with prospects, land high-ticket deals, and ultimately build lasting relationships with partners and clients. My favorite feature is their Folk Chrome extension for importing contacts from anywhere on the web. It's incredibly handy, especially when working with LinkedIn. As we learned from Sampriti's story, it can take up to 540 cold emails just to get one response, and that will lead to success. To avoid drowning in messages and losing track of important contacts, you can set reminders in Folk to follow up with key partners in a month, create templates for these check-ins, and access them right in your LinkedIn inbox. It's low effort, but we know it pays off in the long run. Check out the Folk CRM using the link in the description to drive new businesses and close winning deals. Now let's get back to the life lessons I've learned from interviewing amazing entrepreneurs on this channel. Your Rich BFF is another incredibly insightful interview that you guys loved on this channel, and it taught me some very important personal lessons. By the way, I'll leave all the links to the interviews with these amazing guests in the description below this video, so if you want to dive deeper and watch the full episodes, please check out the description after watching this video. With Vivian, which is her real name, she's not Rich BFF by passport, we discussed a very interesting topic: how to build wealth in 2024 if you don't have family money or are currently in debt. Here's the strategy that Vivian came up with. If you want to be wealthy, you need a strip. Which sounds funny, and I like how she comes up with different acronyms and rules for everything when it comes to your financial life. But basically, STRIP is an acronym, where S stands for savings, and Vivian says you need to have at least 6 months of living expenses set aside as an emergency fund. To reach that, she suggests another cool rule that she named 50-30-20 rule, which means 50% of your money should go towards your needs like rent, health insurance, food, etc. 30% should go towards your wants like entertainment, shopping, and whatever brings you joy. And the remaining 20% should go to your future self, savings, paying off debt, and investing. Keep this strategy in mind when you think about your budget, but also as a mom, I realized that when kids arrive, they mess your whole budget. It gets easier later on when they start school, if it's a state school and it's free. But I also understand it might be difficult for people in different situations to follow this rule, but it's good to keep it in mind. And I can totally relate. I couldn't even imagine how expensive kids are. So if you're single right now watching this, try to stick to this rule if you don't have any dependents. If you're a mom watching this, or if you're a dad watching this, give yourself a break. It's okay to not follow this rule because every kid is different and every family is different. But let's get back to this trip. So basically, T stands for total debt, R for retirement, I for investment, P for plan. I don't want to reveal all the secrets in this video, so if you're interested in learning more, please check out the full episode with Vivian. The link will be down below. And our next interview that we're gonna discuss is my interview with Aravind from Perplexity, which is probably one of the most viewed interviews on this channel. He basically came to Silicon Valley from India to disrupt Google search, and in my opinion, his startup Perplexity AI is definitely succeeding. I personally use their product 3 or 4 times a day. I use it for research, I use it for just searching for things, and I'm not alone in my love for Perplexity. They recently raised 62 million in a funding round that valued the company at over 1 billion. And sources say Perplexity might be close to raising an even larger round of at least 250 million, potentially valuing the company between 2.4 billion and 3 billion. How amazing is that? And the main lesson that we can learn from the episode with Aravind is how to create a product that users will actually love and use every day without switching to another similar tool. Because if you're building something like search, it's so easy to just switch from one tool to another because you don't have this period of like moving to another platform. All you do is just search for something. And it applies to a lot of businesses. It's very easy to switch your favorite restaurants or your favorite cafeterias. So if you're thinking of building something that might not be too sticky, you need to think about the user. And here's what Aravind says.
There are like 5 axes you gotta perfect to be a reliable product and startup. Accuracy, reliability, the latency, the speed, delightful user experience in UI, and the product increasingly getting personalized to you so that you feel like you want to keep coming back to it.
But you can't achieve that reliability and trust from users from day one. This is something you acquire over time. As a startup, you just can't be a one-stop shop from the start. You need to start with being obsessively focused on a few things that you do really well. If you can sustain this reliability and high quality over a long period, users will respect you so much that they won't want to switch to another product. This is something I personally strongly believe in and tell everyone who asks me for business advice. If you want to start a company, you should start with something very niche and master it to perfection. The same applies to a YouTube channel, the same applies to being on social media. Only after that, you should start broadening your audience and adding more features, not the other way around. And our next interview that we're gonna discuss is my most viewed interview on this channel with Keshav from, again, India. India has sent so much talent to the US. So he came to the US from India in 2019 with $0 and was rejected from every school he applied to. And the funny story is I met him when I was sitting with my newborn daughter, Lily, at in one of Palo Alto restaurants. And he just came by and he said, you know, I've kept watching Silicon Valley Girl and I applied to YC and they accepted me. Thank you so much for your videos. And that was just, again, every time that I meet you guys, it's just, you know, my day is so much better. And I asked him, maybe, you know, one day I'm gonna interview you, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I think 2 years later, I interviewed him for my channel, and it became the most viewed episode on Silicon Valley Girl when it comes to podcasts. But Keshav's story doesn't end there. At the same time, he won almost every hackathon he participated in. At one of those hackathons, he started building a product that later turned into Lumini, the company he runs today. So far, the company has raised around 20 million from General Catalyst, Craft Ventures, Y Combinator, and others. He's also a world's champion in Rubik's Cube. During our interview, Keshav shared many valuable insights on building a company and finding product market fit. However, the lesson I want to share with you from that episode is the importance of being generous and willing to help others. Keshav told a story about how when he came to Silicon Valley, had almost no money and no job, only the idea of building a company that would one day change the world. He met amazing people in Silicon Valley who helped him for free and let him live in their house until he figured something out with his career. Today, these people are part of a story of a multi-million company that is actually changing the world. The generosity and willingness to help, even complete strangers, is something that amazed me about Silicon Valley from day one. It's one of the things that make this place such a special place in the world, and it nurtures the world's best companies. So no matter where you live, I want you to adopt this philosophy of just being kind and generous to others. And again, when we came to Silicon Valley for the first time, I was surprised how everyone just made intros. Invited us to come to their dinners to meet investors, gave us advice about our business. There's this guy from Stanford who was also a chief marketing officer of a company that was about to get acquired, and he met with us in his office every Friday. I think it was 6:30 a.m. because he didn't have any other slots. 6:30 a.m. we were in his office, and he would just go through our sales numbers, help us coach our sales team. He was just amazing, and he never asked for anything in return. Again, this culture, it not only helps you when you're starting out, it helps you later to just stay in touch with entrepreneurs who are struggling, give back to the community, and hopefully help the world become a better place. One way or another, it always pays off. My next interview that I personally loved a lot was with Noah Kagan, who is an amazing entrepreneur who got fired from Facebook and started several companies. He got rich by building a software company called AppSumo. He's also the author of the best-selling book, $1 Million Weekend. In our podcast episode with Noah, we talked about the importance of making decisions quickly and testing your business ideas' attention within 48 hours of coming up with them, rather than overthinking and never actually starting. Hello, Marina. I have so many business ideas. I just keep sharing them on my channel instead of starting some. I should probably start a new business sometime soon. Because again, I feel like people are divided into two separate groups. I just want to tell you this, and we're going to get back to Noah Kagan. But I feel like there are two types of entrepreneurs. One type of entrepreneurs are like Sergey Brin type of entrepreneur, or Brian Chesky type of entrepreneur. They work on one idea. Yes, it has many branches, but in general, it's just one idea. And there are entrepreneurs like Noah Kagan. There are entrepreneurs like Richard Branson. There are entrepreneurs who are basically starting multiple companies. They can be from different niches, like, oh my God, Jeff Bezos. Yes, he started Amazon with books, but now it's everything. It's cloud, it's, our shopping experience. They got Whole Foods, they are working on new technology. I feel like I'm not even close to any of entrepreneurs that I mentioned, but I feel like I'm in the second group. It's very hard for me to focus on just one idea. I need to be everywhere because I feel more secure. Having lived through so many things that happen in the world, I just feel I need to have several sources of income, several businesses that will pay the bills, but also help the world become a better place from different perspectives. So if you're like me, it's even more important for you to master the rule that Noah proposed, testing the idea within 24 hours. In 2024, you don't have a year to develop a product before launching it, unless you are curing cancer or working on something deep tech. If it's an online business idea, you have a week or even less to test your idea. Here's what Noah said about it. What will be your main advice to everyone who's trying to start a business in 2024?
Start. It'll work. My whole story is exactly that. What most people never do is they want to be millionaires, but they never become dollaraires.
Yeah. So basically, you need to learn how to make the first step as soon as possible to test your business idea. And in my podcast episode with Noah Kagan, we actually go through several steps or several things you can try out to test your business idea. Decide and act faster. Even if you make mistakes, failing is much better than not trying at all. And I'm going to wrap up this video with a takeaway from an episode with my investors, Lieberman Brothers. They've been my friends since 2015. They're also the ones who came up with the idea of investing in creators. And because I'm their friend, they're testing all of their ideas on me, but I think it was a pretty cool deal. So basically, they and Sam Lesson from Slow Ventures invested in me as a creator. Quick background on the Lieberman Brothers. Daniel and David are trying to revolutionize the venture market by shifting investments from companies to founders. They truly believe that in the modern world, investors should put their money into people they believe in, not just their companies and business ideas. They say investors are much more eager to invest in founders who have failed in the past because their research shows that the probability of those founders building a unicorn is several times higher than for founders who have never started anything or never failed at what they were doing. So, if you're not doing something you want to because you're scared of failure, go do it. Experience the failure and don't be afraid of it anymore. As an entrepreneur, you absolutely need to make mistakes and fail in order to succeed in the future. Another takeaway that actually works for me as well was from one of the interviews on this channel. I don't know how about you, but I feel I really depend on working. And if I'm not working, if I'm just enjoying life, I start feeling guilty. So I talked to David Yen, who founded a huge translation company back in Russia, then moved to Silicon Valley. He's working on AI. He has an AI-powered house, and we actually shot an interview in his home that he built from scratch. And this house has its own personality, an AI personality. Check out the link down below. But basically, I asked him this question: how do you not feel guilty when you're switching from one task to another? Because he has several businesses. He opened a couple of bars in Europe and even became a certified barista. And here's his answer.
The purpose of life is being happy. That's it. So being happy. However, sometimes we are happy because we make other people happy.
Yeah.
That is inevitable. It's our DNA evolutionally social behavior. We have oxytocin. We are happy when our close relatives, friends, family members happy. And we also are happy when we are impacting society best way.
But if solving a particular problem makes you happy, if you feel that you're the right person to solve it, even if it feels like a super small problem, start working on it. Again, you can fail, do whatever, but you're gonna meet new people, you're gonna get new experience, and you actually will start doing something. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed my key takeaways. Please comment down below which podcast on this channel was your favorite. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.